As they say in PIHL hockey, let's do that PIHL hockey. Hello, good evening, and welcome. Matt Popchock and Brian Mitchell back again with you here inside the Galaxy Rink at the Baierl Ice Complex in Warrendale, Pennsylvania for Peters Township hockey on 10-Band TV, part of our PIHL Hockey Night Live doubleheader presented by WG Tomco Incorporated. And tonight, it's a battle of North versus South. The last two Penguins Cup champions in Pennsylvania Interscholastic Hockey League Class AAA are going at it tonight as the Indians visit the North Allegheny Tigers. Earlier tonight, you saw the Montour Spartans edge the Avonworth Antelopes, and you can watch that game right about now on demand on 10-Band TV. The Peters Township Indians were the hottest team in Class AAA until they stubbed their toe a bit going into the holiday break, but a huge win at home against Seneca Valley at Princecape Arena. The North Allegheny Tigers also have cooled a bit after a very respectable start, dropping contests to first place Seneca Valley and to a Pine Richland team that really seems to be getting its act together in a big way. And Brian Mitchell, the 1-2 punch of Ben Kovac and Will Tomko for the Peters Township Indians remains, as ever, a pleasure to watch, and you better believe they're going to be counted on tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty easy when the other team isn't even out on the ice, sir. Peters Township came in a little bit early, and they're out here warming up, waiting for North Allegheny to get here. That, of course, we're a little bit ahead of schedule for the day because how the last game ended up. But, yeah, I'm looking at the standings in AAA, and I won't sit here and tell you that I'm fluent in AAA at this point because I've been covering a lot more of Open Division A and AA because of my location out in the east side of the city. But I'm looking at the standings and seeing how this is all coming together towards the end of the season. It's anybody's game. I mean, you look anywhere from 1 to 5 right now, and it's really just a who's who of who can jump in and do what they need to do to get this season done. Cathedral Prep on a return year. Central Catholic turning that corner on their rebuild. Peters Township, North Allegheny, and Seneca Valley always in those top 3 positions over the years. They're going to battle it out, but like I said, Peters Township has the games in hand on basically everybody except for Upper St. Clair, anybody in the top 5 at least, with a game in hand on Seneca Valley, 2 games in hand on North Allegheny, which, by the way, North Allegheny is going to play the 15th game here this season. They only have 5 left the rest of the way, so every point matters to North Allegheny because you can't get points if you don't play games, and everybody else is playing games around you, so they got to play each other. So.
North Allegheny 9-3 with 1 overtime loss and 1 shootout loss. They have 20 points, which puts them in second place, but Peters, to your point, has 2 games in hand. They are 9-3 overall with 18 points, good for the number 3 spot. And Peters, with a win in regulation tonight, can leapfrog NA for second place.
Not only that, they can leapfrog for second place with the tiebreaker and still have those 2 games in hand that I was speaking of. So there's a little bit of wiggle room there for the Indians. With 1 game in hand, they'll only be a point back of Seneca Valley also.
Peters Township already owning an election night victory on November 8th over North Allegheny. 4-1, the final score of that one back on the 8th of November at the Princecape Arena. Kovac and Tomko each with a goal in that contest. And in the last game against Seneca Valley, Ryder Mertens and Camden Martin really stepped up for Peters Township in a big way. They both had multiple points the last time they faced the Tigers. North Allegheny, led by one of the premier offensive defensemen in the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and a recent PIHL Player of the Month, for that matter, All-Star senior Trey Gallo, the team captain.
Trey Gallo, in 4 years, you just have to imagine what you see in this kid. And I talked to Mike Bagnotto a year of his freshman. He's like, I haven't seen a freshman defender come in and play like he has with his poise and his IQ. He was already a top-line player in his first season. And unfortunately, with the numbers and everything being truncated because of COVID and all the situations, you're not going to see a full length on that. But he has had one storied career, and it just went by like a flash. Now I can think about it. I looked at the lineup card before the game. I'm like, he's a senior this year. I think I said that during the St. Margaret tournament. And I'm just shocked because I remember calling these dynamic freshmen. You were talking to AAA about players like Gallo, but also Austin Martin, the goaltender, and then Jacob Dole, the goaltender. I remember calling games on them when they were freshmen and how fast 4 years can go. And they have all developed into these amazing, great players that, are going to go off and do really great things whenever they play in it.
Gallo with 8 goals, 12 assists, 20 points. He is 5th in AAA in the assist category. He has the most power play assists of any player in Class AAA. He has set up 6 power play goals this season. He's an extraordinary power play quarterback, and he had the game-winning breakaway goal in the championship game of that St. Margaret's Fall Face-Off tournament. North Allegheny won back-to-back St. Margaret's tournaments. They won this year's under the tutelage of their new young head coach, Andrew Cease, who replaced the retired Mike Bagnotto. Talk about mighty big shoes to fill. So you've got Rick Tingle, who's been at Peters Township 18 years, 3 Penguins Cups, 3 Pennsylvania Cups, one of the elder statesmen and one of the more successful high school coaches in all of Western Pennsylvania, against really the new kid on the block who's doing a heck of a job with driving the Ferrari and not wrecking it to this point, I guess you could say.
I wouldn't go that far. He was basically inherited a very good core of leaders from this squad. I mean, last year's North Allegheny squad, you only had, I believe, 3 seniors that graduated off that squad, which is unheard of from in a AAA perspective when you have that many players. But they brought back 90% of their team, if you think about it. And like I said, the leadership coming in is able to nice transition. It maybe was a good year for the transition of the team, so there wasn't that jagged edge of styles that maybe Sice has compared to what Bagnotto did. And, you know, players can come in and can adjust because they can be comfortable doing what they know they could do instead of having to be forced into a new system and learn something in their senior year. It's been a nice transition for them, and yeah, they've had their up and downs. Maybe they didn't run the table like they have the last couple seasons in AAA, but it's something that was easy for Sice, easy for the players to adjust to, and now as you move into next season, you're going to start to see the changes, maybe those small changes that you have, and it'll be great to have that transition that maybe you don't see as a rough edge transition that you might have seen at these other schools that, oh, you got new coach, new style, new scheme. Now players don't want to adjust to it.
And Cease will be coaching Gallo on the Class AAA All-Star team. 10-Band TV proud to be the television home of the PIHL All-Star event at RMU on Sunday, January 29th. Details to come.
It's funny you say the television home, because if you think about it this way, you can watch this on your television the way 10-Band's been building it this season. You know, with the Roku app and the Amazon Fire and all this stuff that you can actually go to your smart TV and watch these games. From a league standpoint, it has been an amazing thing. And, like, it's something that I talked about many times with the late John Mucco was how the expansion of the broadcast rights and the ability for multiple games a week to be able to be watched. And I know that there was a lot of talk about how the app has revolutionized how we're able to see the games now. Instead of having to sit on your phone or on your computer, you can now go onto your television and watch these contests, and it's just something else.
It is a sight to behold, and we are very thrilled to be a part of it, and we are forever in the debt of our late commissioner for allowing us to bring it to light and bring it to you. Game 2 of our PIHL Hockey Night Live doubleheader tonight. It's a big one in Class AAA between the Peters Township Indians and the North Allegheny Tigers. And so with that in mind, we turn it over to public address here at the Galaxy Rink.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Baierl Ice Complex. Tonight, the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Hockey League presents a varsity Class AAA League game. Introducing the away team with a league record of 9-3-0, the Peters Township Indians. And introducing our home team with a league record of 9-3-2, let's hear it for your North Allegheny Tigers. Fans, January 8th to 14th has been dedicated as Officials Appreciation Week by the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Athletic Association. Before we begin today's contest, North Allegheny and the PIAA would like to recognize and thank the dedicated officials working today's athletic contest. The last 20 months have reminded us just how important interscholastic athletics are to our member schools, our students, and our communities. These opportunities and lifelong memories would not be encourage everyone to participate in Officials Appreciation Week online by using the hashtag #ThankYouOfficials and tagging PIAA Sports on Twitter. Please join us in thanking these officials by standing, if able, and applauding their dedication and service to our student athletes, coaches, teams, and sports. Tonight's officials are Chris Patico and Justin Pisano. And now to honor America and those who have served her, please direct your attention towards the flag for the playing of our national anthem. Sportsmanship is everyone's responsibility. Please respect the
And so with that in mind, the only question remains, who will get the nod in goal for these teams? For the North Allegheny Tigers, a bit of a surprise move in goal, as it is Junker getting the nod for NA.
Doesn't look like Rylan Murphy's on the bench.
Murphy, who faced Peters Township in his varsity debut back on November 13th of 2020 in this very building. And he has been the #1 guy for North Allegheny all season long. At the other end, for Peters Township, a pregnant pause, as Tingle has been known to be a bit quirky with his goaltenders at times, but it does appear it is Kyle Thomas, the junior, getting the nod. 2-1 record, 152 minutes played, .869 save percentage, .268 goals against average. The two highest scoring teams in PIHL Class AAA are underway as the Indians move from right to left on your television, computer, or mobile device, and this centering pass goes wide of Cole Newpaver, who was immediately double-teamed by the Tigers. Near side, Dylan Murray, the senior, playing it up to center. Sent right back into the NA zone, where it's settled down by Gallo behind his own netminder. Gallo outletting it for Murray, who takes the interrupted pass and sends it up ahead to Brett Baker. Baker couldn't get a clean shot on net. Kobe Ringwald got in the way of that one and sent Will Tomko the other way on his off wing as he whistles it right into the stomach of Junker, who freezes for a face-off.
Talked about youth players and, how Gallo had a good start to his career. There's a sophomore on the opposite side, and Will Tomko, who probably one of the smoothest skaters I've seen in a long time. And we joked around about it last season, but he was only a freshman last year. He's only a sophomore this year, and he is a difference maker for these Peters Township Indians.
Tyler Bianchin winning the draw for West Allegheny, but pressure from Peters Township forces the Tigers to play it from the near corner around the boards. And it'll be sent back up toward the blue line, but not cleared out. Drew Alexander with a good play at the right point to keep it in zone. He puts it on goal just wide of the left leg of Junker, who's making his varsity debut for 2022-2023 tonight. And a game that you could charitably describe as baptism by fire for a first-time starter in this PIHL season. Two of the top teams in PIHL Class AAA going at it here in the Galaxy rink, as this 50-50 battle is won by the Indians. Mertens gets it to Joey Wateska. Up to center it comes, and Mertens hit hard from behind by one of the Tigers. That's Nate Spack, the senior, giving him the worst of that one. Indians wanted a penalty there on Matt Irvin, who leads the Tigers with 23 points. Irvin 5th in Class AAA in that category, as this puck bounces off a skate and right to the boards conveniently to Lorenzo Calesi. Evan Perrott dropping it to Gallo at the left point, in on goal and smothered by Kyle Thomas, who passes his first test of the evening.
It's going to be interesting to see how much pressure Peters Township can get early on the young netminder, and see how the North Allegheny Tigers adjust to this play, because you want to try to protect him a little bit early, get his feet underneath him. His first varsity game, especially in this type of a situation, is a little bit rough, and that kept the butterflies going on.
Brock Murphy retreating to play it defensively for NA. Murphy from his own circle, surveying the play, sends it up ahead to Calesi. Turnaround by Perrott, and Walkoskis, the freshman, is just a hair offside. 2:20 into a scoreless first period. Cam Junker, again, the surprise starter for Andrew Cease's North Allegheny Tigers, getting his first varsity nod of the regular season tonight, in lieu of senior all-star Rylan Murphy. And here's Evan Kerber the other way for NA. Kerber from the right hash. Centers it out in front. That went off a Peters Township stick, and Thomas almost got beat by friendly fire as this puck deflects in between the circles.
He was on a bench for 4 games this season for the varsity level as a backup, but hasn't seen any action. Mount Lebanon, at Cannon, at Pine Richland, and he did see the game against this Peters Township. Oh, in progress. He's starting for this one, but this is his 4th game of the season.
Going in after this dump-in is Ryan Jackman, the junior, for NA. But Peters is going to ice it legally and make a line change behind the play as Tomko tries to force a turnover and does. And one-timer in front is denied by Cam Junker. Oh, Kovac.
Well, if you're going to need to make your first varsity save, that's a guy to make it on.
He looked like he had the newcomer at his mercy, but Junker had other ideas.
Those butterflies just stopped flapping a little bit harder as that save was made.
Well, they always say that as a goaltender, you want pucks to hit you early. You want to get into the game, get the feel of the game early, as opposed to the alternative. As Thomas, speak of the devil, makes a save at the other end.
It's also big for your squad as you come in there on those, and they're not expecting you to start, or they might need it. They need that little push from you to make sure that what they're protecting is worth it. And it's a good little motivating factor when you can make those early saves, especially a nice save like that to get this team within that range.
The dynamic duo denied early as we remain scoreless with 13.5 to go in the first. Turnaround shot from long range by Colby Onchen is denied, meanwhile, by Kyle Thomas off his goaltender's stick. This puck sailed through center, and this should be icing against the Indians. It is. And so the faceoff will come back to Thomas's left. Now, in the span of just a few minutes, we've heard Freebird, we've heard the theme from Chips. You got any other requests?
Well, Freebird was just a joke, but I guess he decided he needed to play it during pregame warm-up.
Face-off won by the Indians. Wes Forrester going down to make that play to help Peters get it back to neutral ice. Kovac in over the blue line. Kovac up ahead for Tomko. That pass a little too heavy, and Junker knocks it harmlessly aside. Kovac reversing his play. Kovac drawing a double team now, and getting the better of that battle is North Allegheny as it comes back the other way. Hitting the brakes inside the Peters blue line is Colby Onchen going cross ice for Murphy, and that is Brock Murphy putting it in behind the Peters goal line as the Indians clear it up through center. That puck was last touched by Murphy, so it shouldn't be icing. Junker makes it a moot point as North Allegheny changes on the fly. Long outlet pass for Brett Baker. One touched into the Peters Township zone. Turnaround play, bouncing puck in front. Cleared up, but not out. Backhanded off Thomas's blocker hand by Baker. Dylan Murray tied up behind the Peters goal line by a couple of red jerseys. Near side it comes to the Indians now. Ryder Mertens, the team captain, watches this puck come up ahead now to Porter Erb. Indians in the middle of a line change as Hudson Phillips, the defenseman, is forced to play this bouncing puck, and he does so as it is sent toward the goal by and knocked aside, by Kyle Thomas, and Thomas will cover for a face-off.
Interesting going back and forth that you're seeing North Allegheny get multiple opportunities early and getting the puck on net. Solid plays to get there. I mean, they're playing as a team right now, which is what you like to see whenever you have a new netminder in net. But they're keeping it in the offensive zone. They're not giving too many opportunities to Peters Township coming across the neutral zone.
And there's a new face in a familiar place for the Peters Township Indians as well, as Eli Prado plays this puck defensively for Rick Tingle's team. Prado making his 22-23 varsity debut here against the Tigers tonight. North Allegheny fighting for possession here. One-timer in front by Evan Perrott between the circles, denied by Thomas. Perrott, fourth in Class AAA in goals with 13 of those, and very nearly had number 14. An early 6-2 edge in shots for NA, but we remain scoreless with 11:08 to play in the first. While Koskis tries to reset the play for North Allegheny. Travis Laymark playing it patiently behind his own net. He outlets it for Matt Irvin, the alternate captain. Up ahead for Evan Kerber. Kerber, top of the right circle. Stick check neatly by Ringwald. Ringwald sends Peters Township in transition. This is Bryce O'Donnell going cross ice for Troy Jones. Jones trying to go up to the point for Austin Corbel, but here comes NA. Here's Gallo in hot pursuit, centering for Kerber. Kerber shoots. Oh, what a save by Thomas. The rebound is put wide by Gallo and off a Peters Township body. Oh, what a save by Thomas. Is coming the other way as Tomko to the goal. Save made! Cam Junker says you'll get nothing and like it.
Well, those butterflies are gone. That was Will Tomko.
Tomko and Kovac, 24 points apiece. They are tied for second in Class AAA in that category as line mates. And Tomko can't believe he didn't sneak that one past Junker. Under 10 to go in a scoreless first. Business picking up here at the Baierl Complex. And not for nothing, we remain scoreless. Snapshot is fanned on. Oh, that was a good stick check, actually, by Austin Corbel, the defenseman for Peters Township, as this puck is outletted too strong for Tomko by Newpaver, the freshman, sent erroneously off one of the advertising banners off in the distance and out of play. This faceoff should be in NA ice with 9:36 left.
Let's talk about that breakaway one more time. As Tomko came in off of the left side, he came in, cut on the net, was able to get Junker off of his angle, but Junker was able to get across with that blocker and just make that chicken wing save. And that's not an easy save to make whenever you're having to come from your left to your right.
One of the Indians goes down, that's Kovac, and that allows Murphy to play it safely back to center for NA. Evan Kaminsky into the Peters zone. Cut off there by Forrester, bouncing puck given away to the Tigers. Loose in front, but steered aside by one of the Peters defensemen. And up it comes now again to Kovac. Kovac 1-on-2. Kovac watching traffic. Behind the net, intended for Newpaver, cut off by Baker. It comes right to Forrester on a lucky bounce, but it's gathered in now by Brock Murphy of North Allegheny. Murphy gains the red line and dumps it in. North Allegheny wants to make a line change here as we approach the midpoint of the period, and Kyle Thomas will play this puck conservatively to his right.
It's been good back and forth considering you have an 8-3 shot total right now. Both teams trying to jump on every opportunity they can, but neither one wanting to give the opposite their chance.
North Allegheny's 63 goals to lead Class AAA as a team coming in. Peters Township right behind them with 58. Peters Township, with the exception of Seneca Valley, the second least scored upon team in the classification coming into week 14. Wraparound try, stopped by Thomas, side of the net. He doesn't have it frozen, now he does, as the net is run into and dislodged. Kolbianchin trying to get a cheapie there any way he can, but all he'll get is an offensive zone faceoff. Matt Irvin to take it against Mertens, the Peters captain. And Irvin wins it to the boards for Gallo, but Gallo couldn't get there on time. Mertens with speed over the line, offside. Drew Alexander not quite in sync with his left winger.
Half a step offside there. Just gunned when he didn't need to.
Faceoff comes just outside the North Allegheny blue line at the midpoint of a scoreless first period. Clean faceoff win for the Indians. Nathan D'Amico puts it just wide of Junker to his right. Luca Maeda right there on the rebound, but he can't hang on for long as Gallo comes back 3-on-2 with NA. Evan Perrott backhanding it wide of the blue paint. Cut off at the point by Calesi as Caputo reaches for this puck at center. Gallo's gonna Murphy dump it up ahead, and that's actually a pass for Evan Perrott. Well taken by Perrott, and he fires on goal from the left wing. Easy save there for Kyle Thomas. And from the left circle again, it's Perrott. Denied by the Peters Township junior. Sent around the boards, not quite out. Corbel unable to play that puck from behind his own goal line. Now to the point, it's put wide by Evan Barnhart. Barnhart, an all-star selection for North Allegheny at defense. Centering play in front for Barnhart. On his backhand, drags it inside the left circle. Good cycle here by North Allegheny, but unable to get a shot on net, and now a high stick playing the puck for the Tigers, and that allows the Indians to take over and get it back to center to reset the play. Tingle wants badly to make a line change here, and it looks like he might finally have that luxury, at least in part, as Mertens brings it back the other way and whistles it wide of the blocker hand of Cam Junker. This puck gloved down by one of the Indians, just keeping it at the red line, barely. And Alexander with it now for Peters. Down low it comes, bouncing in front. Swiped out of the reach of Troy Jones. Kaminsky back to center with Baker. Kaminsky harassed from behind by Ryder Mertens, number 21 in red for the Indians. To the left point it comes. Snapshot. Went by everything and everybody. And Peters Township gets it back to center. Callous play there by Alexander, almost gave it away to the Tigers. Mertens centering for Drew Alexander to Jones. Jones to the goal, shooting, dribbled in on goal, and it rolled off his stick at the last moment. That's a big break for North Allegheny. Jones had Junker down and just about completely out, but couldn't shoot it cleanly. Forrester kicks at this puck at the left point, but it comes back to center. Just a bad bounce there for Peters Township. Otherwise, this will be a 1-0 game. Jones 1-on-3 is ridden hard into the glass by Nate Spack. Kerber picks up steam as he sends it up ahead to Jackman. Wateska going after this puck defensively for Peters. It's given up to Jackman. Behind the net now for Kerber. Kerber up high to Tyler Bianchin. Gloved out of the air by Newpaver cleanly. North Allegheny from neutral ice has to tag up here. And that allows Forrester to play it late in this first period. Still no score. Peters Township looking to move into second place with a regulation win tonight. North Allegheny looking to move into first place with a win of any kind as Junker makes a save from the right circle and holds on.
I want to touch a little bit earlier on that play where you were saying it was a lucky bounce that was off his stick. But the follow-up, as Junker allowed the play to continue to his defense as he saw that the play was developing along the near boards to get it outside the zone, that's something to watch going forward. Is his poise and his IQ is there too as a sophomore, especially starting in his first varsity game.
To the boards it comes. Off the skate of Luke Welkoskis. No harm done. Tigers get it deep anyway, but they play it errantly over the glass nearest to the Peters Township bench. And so they'll face it off at center, it looks like. Justin Pisano with Chris Batko, the referees tonight, as they were for our early game here in Warrendale. And a near giveaway there to Kovac. That was just out of his reach, as Peters has to play this puck defensively. Around the boards, it's sent by Prado. Off a Peters Township skate, Kovac going in after it on the back check. And he outmuscles his man, Perrott, and gets it up ahead of Tomko. Tomko, running out of room, goes to Kovac. Kovac from the corner, off a North Allegheny body. And the Tigers will skate it back to center. Evan Perrott gains the red line and dumps it in. Cease calling for a line change here with 4:20 to go in the first. Peters Township and North Allegheny scoreless here at the Baierl Ice Complex. Outlet pass too strong for Newpaver as he comes off for the Indians. And a hard collision there. Tomko running over one of the Tigers as he went behind the net to play the puck. That was Brock Murphy getting the worst of that one as Trey Gallo comes back for North Allegheny, dropping for Spack, who whistles his shot wide. Up to Gallo comes. Gallo between the circles. Oh, a great blocker save there by Thomas. That might be his best save of the night. Tomko flipping it up to center. And Caputo flags it down. Porter Erb, though, frustrated with himself as he's called for offside.
Yeah, Peters Township a little skittish right now coming into the zone. A couple offside plays directly in front of us. Having a hard time getting the timing together. I mean, they're getting outshot 12-4 also in this contest, but having a hard time just the fundamentals getting across the line. And I don't know if it's the North Allegheny defensive play or if it's just the timing that's off right now.
North Allegheny traditionally is a very well-organized defensive team. I mean, that's a tale as old as time. And in the more meaningful meetings historically between these teams, it's been oftentimes that North Allegheny team defense that's enabled them to get the upper hand. Still a lot of time left in this one, though, as Thomas has to make a save from long range. Barnhart gaining the red line. Not able to get this puck deep, however, as it comes to Caputo, near side for Peters. Up ahead to Maeda. Maeda, top of the left circle. Maeda, pretty little maneuver there. Bouncing puck, controlled by the Tigers, and tapped back to center as Corbel is the lone man back for the Indians. Kerber up ahead of the play, and Kerber too well covered by Ringwald as Thomas knocked that puck out of the blue paint. Oh, good chance there for Rene, but Peters got back to cover just in the nick of time. Forrester sends this puck off the official, it appears, and it stays inside the offensive zone for the moment. Forrester cutting it off again. Forrester down low for Jeremy Poon. Behind the goal line, it's played by the Tigers, intercepted by Mertens, who's just on for Peters Township. Mertens attracting all kinds of attention along the far boards. Mertens down low for Alexander. Alexander trying to reverse the play to Ryder Mertens. Mertens with that puck on a string. Mertens shooting. Save made! And that wasn't an easy one for Cam Junker to make with 2 minutes to play.
I'm wondering, I was just looking up the stats in the previous couple games, and there was no Rylan Murphy in the last game last Monday either. You have to wonder, is this going to be an extended thing? Is that why you're taking a look at Cam Junker to see if he could maybe be a gap start? You don't want to start, you don't want to start long here. So, I mean, an opportunity here for that. I mean, something to look into going down the stretch, too.
Only 5 shots on goal thus far for the Indians, but seemingly they've all been high-quality shots. And Junker's been equal to the task as the Indians put this one in behind the NA goal line. Controlled by Kovac out in front for Tomko, but he was too well covered by Barnhart. Barnhart backhands it off the boards. North Allegheny gets it back to center for Kalezi. Kalezi unable to handle that puck, though, and Peters comes back on the counterattack. Kovac being whacked at by Perrott as he sends it behind the net in the final minute 35 of first period play. Tomko tied up by Barnhart. Tomko wiggles free, tries to set up Newpaver. Tomko again too well covered, and he's knocked to the ice by the bigger NA defender. Kept alive at the right point and onside, but now into the North Allegheny bench. Tough break there for Wateska as the faceoff comes outside the Tiger blue line.
That was a good dig up along the blue line in front of the bench, but unfortunately just got too much of the stick underneath it and threw it back on. Trying to find that short glass directly in front of us to the left and the left of the long. Couldn't find it, so ended up in a bench.
This face-off dribbling all the way back deep into NA territory where Gallo has it for the Tigers. Outlet pass to Nate Spack. Spack ridden off this puck by Mertens. And it comes around now to Prado. And at the side of the net, Kyle Thomas will cover. Matt Irvin, the alternate captain against Ryder Mertens in the face-off circle. Mertens wins that battle. Peters just trying to be careful defensively. Is this one-timer by Irvin and right out in front? Goes wide of the net. Mertens from his own end. Cleverly plays it off the boards and back to center. From his own zone, Prado unable to get it up to the red line. Gallo intercepting there for NA. Gallo over the blue line with 20 to go in the period. Centering pass to nobody in particular, cut off by Mertens. Mertens trying to hurry at the end of the first here. Mertens being ridden all the way and ridden off the puck. Jones retreating. 3 seconds left. Jones has to hurry here. Jones toward the goal, wide of the goal. And that'll be that for period one here at the Baierl Ice Complex in Warrendale with the Peters Township Indians and North Allegheny Tigers scoreless. With Brian Mitchell, I'm Matt Popchock, and you're watching PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10-Band TV and Peters Hockey TV, presented by WG Tomco Incorporated. First period shots on goal 15-5 in favor of the North Allegheny Tigers, who are scoreless after one period with the Peters Township Indians in this big PIHL Class AAA clash. And with that shot total, you would think, Brian Mitchell, that the Tigers really tilted the ice. And they did come out really strong. They had a good pace to their play in that first period. But I got to say, in terms of high danger chances, quality chances, if you will, I might have to give that edge to Peters Township, which might not be a popular opinion.
4 out of 5 of their shots were grade A opportunities that had to be saved. If they weren't saved, that was definitely, this could be a 3-0 game right now. The 15 shots by North Allegheny, I could pick a handful out of there that were absolutely stolen by Thomas, but at this point it's been, it's been more even than it shows on the scoreboard.
Now the Indians were one of the Class AAA leaders in first period goals. They are used to starting games very much on the right foot or right skate, as it were, but North Allegheny blanking them in that first period. And again, more of that NA trademark team defense that has been a key to their success in the Class AAA level over the years. Both these teams fancying themselves Penguins Cup contenders again in 2023, as this puck is played in front by Cam Junker. Gaining the red line, dumping it in is Kaminsky, as Cease calls for a change on the fly. Indians playing this puck with some tact here as Tomko has it at center red, gains the line, sends it in. Going in after the dump in is Newpaver. Newpaver for Kovac. Kovac withstands a body blow there from Irvin. Now Irvin hit hard into the boards as he goes down on his stomach. Hard check there by Tomko as Forrester plays the puck defensively in his own corner. Up for Tomko. Tomko deflects it in the general direction of Junker, who just steers it to the corner. Tomko, the sophomore, out in front. One-timer! It's stopped by Junker. He doesn't know where it is. Now he does. It's inside his equipment somewhere.
Good save by Junker. You touched on something with the Penn's Cup potential and everything in AAA. You look at the standings and see how it builds out right now. The top 3 teams are out: Seneca Valley, North Allegheny, Peters Township. Perennial AAA favorites. Every year you're going to see them in the top 5 of the division. Look at the next 2 teams, Central Catholic and Cathedral Prep, back on rebuild years. They're definitely building back up to something this season, have a couple years left before they have to start looking at it again. And then it's the new guys, the teams that came up from AA the last couple seasons, Upper St. Clair, Baldwin, Peters Township. Then there you got your teams in your rebuild. So yes, AAA, you got your perennials, but there's definitely a chance that a couple teams surprise you later in this con.
Wateska from the right hash fires a puck toward goal. That's deflected into the glove of Junker, who hangs on once again. And Peters Township, as we said, coming off what had to be a big confidence-boosting win for them at home against Seneca Valley, a team that had beaten them in this barn early in the regular season. Those 2 teams met in last year's Penguins Cup final, of course, with Peters Township coming out on top as this puck is gloved from a bad angle by Junker for another defensive zone draw. And so you got to figure the Indians were flying high coming into this one, but North Allegheny behind their emergency backup here, Cam Junker, a phrase I use loosely, of course, they've come to play.
Well, he's a backup goaltender right now. He's not the E-Bug yet, but definitely somebody that's their third stringer coming into this season.
Walkowskis off a body toward the goal block. Save made, Kyle Thomas on the follow-up as Forrester dumps Walkowskis on his backside after the whistle, but it looks like cooler heads will prevail here with 14:56 to go to the ice cut.
You always add that extra goaltender to your roster at the beginning of the season, hoping that you don't have to use them, but having the faith in him if you have to bring him in, that he's going to be somebody that's going to be able to win you a game, steal you a game here or there if you need to.
Face-off won by North Allegheny. Kerber toward the goal, save made, rebound. Oh, what a stop by Thomas! How did he keep that one out? My goodness!
10 bells, 10 bells. Somebody call the cops.
Oh, there's a quality shot for North Allegheny. Somehow, Kyle Thomas pulling that rabbit out of his hat, and we remain scoreless. Early in the second period, shot from distance denied by Junker. The rebound still loose. Jones has it. Turnaround try between the circles, kicked at defensively by one of the Tigers. That's Kerber getting it back to center for Matt Irvin. Irvin to his forehand. Irvin shooting wide of Thomas's stick side. Retreating defensively, Murphy for North Allegheny. Up to Laymark. In deep it goes. North Allegheny changing lines as Peters Township skates out from behind its own goal. Jones met immediately by a couple of white jerseys at the blue line, but the play is still onside. Alexander to Witt playing it in behind the goal. It comes all the way up top to the other point for Hudson Phillips. And this should be no trouble for the sophomore Brock Murphy, who sends it around the boards. And it's flipped back to center through the legs of Eli Prado. The varsity insert for Rick Tingle. And North Allegheny now guilty of icing.
I just want to see these 2 teams play 16 more times this season. That's awesome. This has been a good back and forth so far, and appreciate the night court theme over the.
I want to see the night court reboot. Dave Fryer has put me in the mood just now.
Yeah, he's got me in the mood for the night court. I was a big fan back in the 80s. But anyway, we're back to some hockey because nostalgia hit me, but you got a face-off down low.
Not only does he have good taste, but he's topical.
Yeah.
You got to keep that in mind. Face-off won in their own zone by the North Allegheny Tigers. Declan Dady helping North Allegheny skate this puck back to neutral ice. Baker getting it deep for the Tigers. Played defensively by Corbel, and now a shot from a bad angle and a hard one by Kaminsky goes up into the stands. And just wide of the North Allegheny partisans off to our left.
Yeah, That's a giveaway. They throw it back.
It's not quite Chuck-a-Puck season yet. It will be in 9 more months.
9 more months. We'll talk Chuck-a-Pucks.
Oh, boy. This time the Indians win a defensive zone face-off, but Ringwald is taken off the puck by Spack. Spack battling in the corner with a couple of Indians as it comes to the point for Gallo. Gallo shooting, score!
I don't know if that touched something in front or not, but it definitely passed Thomas up high. It redirected.
Give me the gun, Trey. That's a bullet from the North Allegheny captain. He makes it 1-0 Tigers. If that is, in fact, the All-Stars goal, it'll be his 9th of the season.
He gets the puck back at the point. I think it went off of an Indian in front and bounced back in, bounced through. So I'm going to give that one to Gallo, and he responded as such. So he led the line. So didn't look like it went off anybody that was in a white shirt. But you can't really see the replay from here.
His 9th of the season, scored by number 4.
Yep.
And for now, they're giving it to him.
Assisted by number 8, Popchock.
Deflected in on Thomas. Thomas had to make an alert save there as that puck took a funny bounce. The Indians Murphy dumped this puck deep into North Allegheny territory as Gallo, the first goal getter of the game, wards off Will Tomko. Now Tomko takes a run at Gallo. Gallo gives him a little one-hander. Newpaver from the corner. From the boards, it's stolen by Gallo and cleared back to center. Ringwald with his back to Evan Perrott goes D-to-D with Corbel. Corbel up ahead for Newpaver, dropping for Kovac. Kovac centering for Newpaver. That puck took a bounce off Newpaver right to Ringwald. Ringwald's shot blocked. Ringwald from the left point put it off a North Allegheny body. And a great job of gap control there by Walkoskis to force this puck back into Peters Township territory and nearly into the left lung of our producer, Todd Kazarowski, who appears to be...
We almost had to go off air for a second.
Well, a fan appears to be getting attention after being hit by that errant puck, and she walked out of the Galaxy rink under her own power, and medical staff going to take a look at her just to make sure she's okay. That was very scary.
Yeah, that hit her and then almost took us off the air. Right into the production booth, too. I hope she's okay.
We both do. 1-0 North Allegheny with 11:40 to go to the ice cut on a second period goal by Trey Gallo. Mertens driving the net. Mertens couldn't center it. He had Porter Erb open at the far side of the cage, but he was too well guarded. Tigers over the blue line again. Kerber cranks one off the glass and wide. O'Donnell had his stick tied up. And now the Tigers backhand it into the corner. Mertens through 2 white jerseys comes to center. Mertens gonna let Lamarck play this puck and peel off as he comes off for a Peters Township line change, and it was a big hit in the corner there. Erb and Lamarck meeting in North Allegheny territory. While Koskis cross ice for Kaminsky. Kaminsky had trouble handling that pass. Indians with it defensively. Near side, Kaminsky. Cross ice for Barnhart. Kaminsky double teamed in the corner. Backhander on Thomas. Oh, a cheeky little play there by Dylan Murray, but a better save by Kyle Thomas.
It was a nice little backhand. Like you said, sneaky.
This shot is blocked by one of the Indians. Good gap control there by Wes Forrester. 10 minutes to go in the second period. Tigers keeping their foot on the accelerator here, trying to add to a 1-0 lead as Thomas controls this bouncing puck.
now the Indians getting caught deep here with North Allegheny all of a sudden. North Allegheny getting the golden opportunities.
And off the face-off, it's steered to the corner. Irvin going in after it, and Irvin just barely beats Hudson Phillips to that puck. Great hustle. Given away to Matt Irvin. Irvin looking for shooting space, can't find any. Newpaper was right in the way. Peters coming back 3 men strong. Tomko, drop pass, Kovac shooting. Oh, Junker just got a piece of that one. Puck battle in the corner, and Gallo being stood up there by Tomko. Those two have had some interesting confrontations as this puck goes deep into Indians territory, but not far enough for icing. Newpaper lets it go by. Tomko one-touching it. Nifty little pass there to Kovac. Kovac trying to outmaneuver Brock Murphy, but nothing doing. Now, at some point, as this puck is put up into the rafters and play is whistled dead, the Indians have to be a little bit more liberal with the puck, I think, in the offensive zone if they're going to get Cam Junker, I should say, off his game.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and but they're not getting that opportunity. North Allegheny is keeping them from that area in front of the net. They're keeping them out of the crease, keeping them out of those high contact areas, and definitely keeping them to the perimeter right now and allowing him to just let the game come to him.
And North Allegheny is a team that, at the risk of belaboring the point, is comfortable winning a 1-0, 2-1 type of game. This game is right in their comfort zone right now as we approach the midpoint of the period and the contest here at the Baierl Complex.
Well, you mentioned, you look at the last two teams that have won the championship, but look at the third team that you're not talking about in here. Seneca Valley wins the same way. They won 2 games, there's 2-1 contests, they're going to get there.
Laymark, top of the right circle,
Penalty.
wide of the blocker hand of Thomas. Penalty coming up on the Peters Township Indians. Andrew Cease calling for the extra attacker on the delayed penalty call. Laymark off of Newpaper's skate, chance right in front, save made by Thomas, it's loose and covered. Oh, golden chance for the Tigers there. Cross-checking the indication from referee Batko as the North Allegheny Tigers, who have the second-ranked power play behind guess who, Peters Township, will go to work with 8:23 to play in the second.
Good heads-up play by Kyle Thomas, especially with that puck laying in the crease. Everybody lost it in their feet. There was a member of the Indians, not the Indians, the Tigers, barreling towards the net to try to tap that in. Nobody could find it. He was almost there before Thomas realized and lunged. Good play.
And if there was a chink in the Peters Township armor last season, it was the penalty kill. They really struggled on the penalty kill last year. Exact opposite this year. Peters Township #1 at 93.1% coming in. North Allegheny 28.2%, a solid clip on the power play. So a real battle of wits on special teams here in a 1-0 game that favors the Tigers with under 8 to go to the ice cut.
They really like that gun with Gallo at the point. So wait and see how they offset that offense up from that point.
Irvin for Gallo. For Bianchin to the goal, save made Thomas, no rebound. While Koskas was on the doorstep, Joey Wateska was getting in his grill for Peters Township, or trying to anyway. 1:20 to go, and the minor cross-checking penalty on Kobe Ringwald, the Peters Township all-star defenseman, and that's a tough loss for the Indians, losing your best defenseman in a 1-0 game.
Yep.
Face-off won cleanly by the Tigers. Bianchin put it off a skate as it goes wide.
We talk about that every year in this, power play quarterbacks, and you've seen it over the year. North Allegheny had Tyler Duderstadt a couple years ago. Montour with Dusty Garagash and Nick Bandy for West Allegheny. These players that can come in and change a game on the power play and on a point and just run that offense in the quarterback. You don't have too many of those around anymore.
Cole Bianchin for Matt Irvin. Irvin snapper. That was blocked out in front by Forrester. Kovac deflects this puck back to center. Good read there by the junior. Cole Bianchin over the Peters blue line. Bianchin centers it too strong for Laymark, and Kovac should be able to clear the zone. He will. Kovac and Tomko coming back shorthanded. Tomko gets positioning on Laymark. Tomko just trying to take time off the penalty clock here as he slides this puck back to neutral territory. Hudson Phillips sends it the length, or most of the length anyway, Last rush maybe for the NA power play with 6:35 to go in the period. Tigers not really showing a ton of urgency though to try and get back, but here's Perrott with a chance right as the penalty is expiring. Good stick check there by Hudson Phillips. Perrott from a bad angle, save made, Thomas rebound, save again. Jackman all alone, whiffed on the shot, Jackman the follow-up, save Thomas. Oh, Thomas surviving a fracas there and this one is put off his blocker. It's loose in front, the rebound still loose. Thomas down and out as officials whistle the play dead. I'm guessing it's because they lost sight of the puck.
Well, I don't know, the net, they're hanging around the net, see if the net's off, or? No,
if it was, it wasn't by much.
At it.
Wholesale substitutions for both teams now.
Face off outside the zone.
Sorry, Brian, with 6:07 to go in the second period.
They're calling a face-off outside the zone, meaning that they did find something that was an infraction in front of the net. Not a penalty, but something that keeps the Indians out, outside. So
a crease violation.
Yeah, basically.
As we lacrosse people would say.
Mm-hmm. That could be interference. That could be something that stopped the play so the goaltender was out of it.
Ringwald up ahead for Caputo. Caputo, snapper, blocked. Just not a lot of room out there for the Indians offense to operate. And a chance the other way for Baker if he can reel this in, but he can't. Back to center it comes. Laymark from the circle, gains the red line, dumps it in. Baker on his backhand. For Kaminsky, off the side of the net. Ringwald getting clever with this puck behind his own goal line. Up for Luca Maeda. Maeda back 3 men strong with the Indians. Maeda trying to dance around Laymark. Maeda still trying to play this puck, but he's taken off it finally by Laymark. And the North Allegheny sophomore sends it the other way. Corbel has to wait for his mates to tag up. North Allegheny with a 1-0 lead in the final 5 minutes of the second period. Barnhart outletting this puck too far enough for icing. Some of the Tiger fans thinking that hit off something on its way in behind the Peters goal line, but Indians get an offensive zone faceoff, and with only 9 shots on goal approaching the ice cut, they'll take any territorial advantage they can get.
It's been a while since they've been down on this end of the ice, to be honest with you. We've been paying attention to everything to our left, and you know, I have to pay attention because I have to look around the cameras whenever I do this, and I haven't had to do that in a little bit.
And you got to give the Tigers credit. It is a team game, and they played well as a team supporting their backup goaltender, Cam Junker. Draw pass. Score! The slings and arrows of outrageous fortune and the stick of Evan Kerber make it a 2-0 game for North Allegheny with 4:44 to play in the second.
It was just a nice little delay at the blue line, and then Kerber was able to come in off the post, take the initial pass. He missed on the first shot, was able to fire the second shot, 5-hole, and put it home. Make it 2-0 here in North Allegheny. And I was just noting the entire, during that situation of how crisp North Allegheny hasn't been on their passing to this game so far, how little rough it's been around the edges getting it in. That one bounced off the skate and was able to get a second opportunity on shot on.
Gallo with another multi-point game.
I mean,
Gallo came in number 5 in Class AAA in the assist column. So he'll continue to climb that ladder.
you have 30 shots in 30 minutes into the game, so I mean, you're going to get something that's going to bounce on net like that, and it was a good shot, great shot.
Yeah, Thomas has not played poorly by any stretch of the imagination. Quite the opposite, in fact. But North Allegheny's been the more persistent and opportunistic team, and they're the team that's been able to create more shooting space as Junker gloves this puck down. They figure these two teams meet in the playoffs. It could end up a lot like this. Low scoring, not a lot of room out there, and you got to take whatever you can get. Shot from long distance is covered by Thomas.
Well, if neither of these teams can catch them, Seneca Valley would end up knowing this could be a semifinal matchup on the island. If you look at how they might play out here.
Well, either way, it's going to be a fun stretch run and a fun Penguins Cup playoff season. As this shot is whizzed past the head of Kyle Thomas. Tyler Bianchin pulled the trigger on that one as the Indians counterattack late in the period. Newpaver toward the goal, wide of Junker. Perrott plays it in behind his own goal line. Indians going after that. Up to the point for Eli Prado. Prado through the legs of a Tiger defenseman. That of Laymark. Peters winning a puck battle, and the more of those they can win, the better for their sake. They've really been stymied by North Allegheny in the second period as the Tigers have staked a 2-0 lead with under 3 to go to the ice cut. Prado off the skate of Laymark, and Laymark pushes it to the corner. Newpaver for Walkoskis, and Walkoskis puts it off his own glass and out of play.
You got to start taking chances if you're Peters Township here. You're going to have to get a stretch pass that's going to work at some point. You're going to have to get somebody in behind the defenders. It's going to take those opportunities to get you back into this one because North Allegheny's not giving you anything here. Like, there's barely any chance to get into the zone.
Off the face-off, this puck covered by Junker, so we'll do it again from the same spot. Again, if you're Peters Township, no such thing as a low percentage shot at this point. North Allegheny, if any team can make a 2-0 hockey game look like an 8-0 hockey game, well, you got to figure it's those guys.
Matt Irvin broke his stick. He's going to have to go get a new one or get changed. Yep. Guess he lined up for the face-off and broke his stick.
Irvin against Maeda. Maeda tries to push it toward the goal right off the face-off, but it was not to be, and North Allegheny looks like they're going to ice this puck. Yes, they will.
You got to take the opportunities now if you're Peters Township. Win those face-offs. This is very important right now. You're getting the golden chances because North Allegheny is just winning the face-off back and dumping them.
And they're going to continue to play a patient game, and you know, I am very reluctant to use the phrase park the bus because that's not what North Allegheny is doing in this game, but they settle into a defensive rhythm of any kind. They're very hard to beat.
See, I see what you're saying, but they're not really changing too much of their strategy right now. They haven't adjusted to go to that defensive style. They've been actually given the opportunities like this.
Bianchin putting it just wide. Go ahead, Brian.
You know, they're taking their opportunities when they can and trying to keep the puck low, which they're getting into these deep cycles and holding them.
Cross-ice pass for Gallo. Gallo from above the left circle. Oh, he just missed the top corner. Would have been his second of the night. From the right circle, it's put off the pipe. Colby Bianchin finds metal but not mesh, and now he finds glass as he takes Bryce O'Donnell for a ride. Final 1:35 before the ice cut. Tigers looking to really take command here as this shot from long range by Gallo is denied again by Thomas. And the puck comes all the way back inside the North Allegheny blue line. Ringwald. Long outlet pass, too far, way too far for Alexander. Well, there's one of those chances they try to take.
The opportunities that they saw, I mean, you're going to have to get, you had them behind, you had two forwards behind the defenders. You had to take that opportunity, seeing that across, and it was a good look, so it was a great pass out. He just couldn't make the contact.
Face-off coming up to Kyle Thomas's right. Mertens lost it to Kerber. Kerber put it off of Thomas's blocker and over top the goal. Jackman using his body to keep that puck away from Mertens. And now Jackman will send it up ahead to Kerber, the most recent NA goal scorer. Wateska to his defensive partner, Forrester. Up for Drew Alexander. Alexander met immediately by Jackman. North Allegheny keeps it inside the attacking zone. Brett Baker from the outside edge of the circle is knocked off the puck by Jones. Up to center it comes. Brock Murphy retreating. Final half minute of the period as the clock has struck 10 in Western Pennsylvania. Well, the Peters Township Indians just hoping time has not run out on them here tonight as they find themselves down 2-0 to the North Allegheny Tigers, who have a breakaway. Barnhart to the goal. Save Thomas! Evan Perrott was in on that play as well for North Allegheny, and Kyle Thomas has to make one of his biggest saves of the night to keep the Indians within reach.
Tried to sneak that 5-hole on the backhand. Thomas, if he wouldn't have held on to it, that probably would have bounced out into where Perrott was standing. So it was a good play to hold on to it and keep the poise so it didn't slide through the pads.
Indians win the faceoff on their own end, get it back to center. 8 seconds left. They have to hurry here. Mertens dropping for Tomko. Tomko on net. Save made Junker. 3.4 ticks to talk. And one more faceoff coming up in NA ice.
Here he comes. They're going to pull Thomas for the last 3 seconds. They're going to put 6 out.
Might as well. You need a face-off win. You need a quick shot on net right off the face-off. Mertens against Walkoskis.
They still have 4 players on the ice. They're looking for the 6th. They got 4.
And finally, Eli Prado got the memo, and he's going to come out here for Rick Tingle.
Prado's going to go to the net.
And the shot is blocked as we cut the ice at the Baierl Ice Complex.
Tomko broke his stick on that attempt.
Well, a big battle in PIHL Class AAA between two teams with lofty goals in 2023. And it's the North Allegheny Tigers behind backup goaltender Cam Junker leading the Peters Township Indians 2-0 on second period goals by Trey Gallo and Evan Kerber. With Brian Mitchell, I'm Matt Popchock, back with third period action in a bit here as you're watching PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10 Band TV and Peters Hockey TV, and it's all presented by WG Tomco Incorporated.
All across the United States, each state has what's called an immunization information system. Immunization information systems, or IIS, are confidential, population-based, computerized databases that record all immunization doses administered by participating providers to persons residing within a given geopolitical area. In the United States, every vaccination registry is a bit different, which can become daunting and confusing. Enter PubHub. PubHub solves this issue by giving its providers the ability to connect and communicate to the state registry with one connection and one data format. For example, if a patient has received the COVID-19 vaccine, PubHub allows the provider to see if the patient has already received the vaccine, keeping everything safe and organized for everyone.
Two jumbo ice caramel drizzle peppermint mochaccino.
Extra caramel?
That's us.
I'd love to join you guys at the beach house for a few days, but between my job and the kids, it's just not that easy. Not to mention, how am I squeezing into a bikini after this winter?
Keeping off extra pounds while balancing a family and a career can be tough. And 500-calorie coffees won't get you there either. Weight Loss Direct provides a 24/7 support and one-on-one coaching to keep you on track and guarantee you success and health. Start your journey at weightlossdirect.com.
All across the United States, each state has what's called an immunization information system. Immunization information systems, or IIS, are confidential, population-based, computerized databases that record all immunization doses administered by participating providers to persons residing within a given geopolitical area. In the United States, every vaccination registry is a bit different, which can become daunting and confusing. Enter PubHub. PubHub solves this issue by giving its providers the ability to connect and communicate to the state registry with one connection and one data format. For example, if a patient has received the COVID-19 vaccine, PubHub allows the provider to see if the patient has already received the vaccine, keeping everything safe and organized for everyone.
And thanks to local band Old Neon for the music you heard during the ice cut. You can hear more of their music and lots of great local bands on Music from the 412 from the makers of 10 Band TV, a brand new website that is also available as an app through Roku or your Amazon Fire Stick. That's Music from the 412, featuring local bands like the one you just heard, Old Neon. Matt Popchock and Brian Mitchell back here on PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10 Band TV, presented by WG Tomco Incorporated. 17 more miles to go in this second game of our Monday night doubleheader to start off week 14. Shots through 2 periods. North Allegheny Tigers 32, Peters Township Indians 13. North Allegheny with the edge where it counts, 2-0 over the Indians. And we understand that the young woman who was hit by the puck that nearly took us off the air in the second period is in fact the mother of North Allegheny's Evan Kerber, who made it up to her by scoring a second period goal, we should point out.
That was a pretty goal too.
Yes, it was.
Pretty goal. Really nice job.
Kerber scoring for the Tigers. 12-16 into the second period, set up by Ryan Jackman and Trey Gallo. Gallo scored his 9th of the season, 4:03 into the middle frame, set up by Cole Bianchin, and that's where we stand right now. But what I want to talk about, Brian, is the big invisible brick wall I see that's obfuscating the entire North Allegheny end of the ice in front of Cam Junker.
It's something else. I can't figure it out right now. We were talking a little bit during the intermission, and it's just been a hard way for Peters Township to get through that defensive line. And getting across the blue line has been tough. But once you get there, they're leaving you to the perimeter, and Junker's just able to see every shot that comes in. They're just giving him every opportunity to make the saves.
And the onus, I think, on North Allegheny in this third period is to just continue to play their game, keep their heads about them, stay within yourselves, because you know Peters Township is going to try to pick up the hitting. They're going to try to pick up the physical play. They're going to play with a greater sense of urgency, obviously, in this third period as we're back to action here at the Baierl Ice Complex inside the Galaxy rink. And Rick Tingle's done his homework, I'll bet. You know, you know that he knows that this NA team has struggled on the penalty kill, so you just don't want to get into penalty trouble if you're NA, as this shot is denied right off the opening whistle by Cam Junker.
That was a shot by Will Tomko once again. Yeah, you got to keep your head here, because if you don't want to get that opportunity to Peters Township, as you said earlier, one of the top power play units in the league right now, in AAA, and you don't want to give them that chance to climb back into it, because maybe you got a little hot-headed or you responded to something that Peters Township was throwing at you in this game. And on the opposite side, you want to give that a little extra to North Allegheny and say, hey, you know, show me something here. Let's see if, you know, we're not just going to roll over.
It is a fine line to walk, or to skate, as it were. And here come the Tigers with shooting space, and a shot put just wide of Thomas as Matt Irvin went flying into the near post.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. It's not supposed to be like that. No, they're going to reset this net. We're going to have a face-off. Should be down low.
Irvin with 23 points on the year.
They're bringing it back outside. They're saying he was pushed into the net.
Interesting. Yeah, Irvin.
Well, he did go flying, so that he has to be propelled from something, right? Isn't that the law of force or motion or something? No, they're going to bring it back down. They're going to say it was divine intervention, and he ended up just leaving the ice on his own. And
I was at best a B student in physics, so this is out of my purview.
I never took physics, so no, he just decided to Superman, I guess.
Face-off won by the Tigers, but Bianchin can't keep it in the zone. Chance maybe the other way for Peters Township. Alexander to Newpaver. Newpaver pinned against the boards by one of the Tigers. That's good stick work there by Laymark. They battle in behind Cam Junker inside the first minute of third period play, with the Tigers leading Peters Township 2-0. And now Evan Perrott leading the charge for North Allegheny. Perrott to the far corner. Wateska cuts him off. And now a tie up along the boards. Walkoska's trying to pin that puck against the boards with his skate and protect it from the stubborn Peters Township back checkers. And this puck battle is won by the Tigers as Kalezi goes down, maybe trying to draw a penalty on Peters Township there, but nothing doing.
Yeah, and that's the other side of the coin you were talking about. I mean, you don't want to send North Allegheny out there on the power play either. So you don't want to go too far on that. Maybe that's why you're not seeing the reaction.
Jones over the blue line for Peters Township. Jones to the goal, can't get a clean shot off. It rolled off his stick at the last moment, and Alexander's follow-up on the rebound went wide. Forrester. Oh, Alexander, I don't think got that puck cleanly on goal. Forrester gaining the red line, dumping it in. North Allegheny trying to complete a line change here, but they have to play this puck out from their own corner. Kovac trying to intercept for Peters Township. He can't catch it, but Will Tomko will. Matt Irvin icing this puck for North Allegheny with 14.5 to play in regulation.
It's like you only have less than 3 seconds to get the puck off your stick if you're in the corner with against these North Allegheny Tigers. As they're coming in, they're collapsing on you, and they're getting sticks in the lanes. If you don't get that quick shot off and try to get something on net, it's not happening.
And again, I use the word urgency. Peters Township, in a way that we're not used to seeing them struggle, I think is struggling to match the urgency with which North Allegheny's come out and play this game, quite frankly.
So there's one thing that you got to go with. Is you get one here, you don't know what's going to happen after that at one. And you just got to get them on net. You got to get that one, because you could get North Allegheny off their game. Now they're down by one and get in their heads a little bit, but who knows how that might respond.
Mertens had that in mind, but he put it wide of the net, and Tomko couldn't connect on the drop pass there as the Tigers promptly skated it into Peters territory. And one of the Tigers there, that was, I believe, Kerber, the most recent goal scorer, going off after going you-know-what over tea kettle behind the Peters Township goal line.
That just ran into Tomko, and he just rode up. Tomko's back and rolled himself. Tomko didn't do too much on that one.
Kerber, fortunately, no worse for the wear. Neither Kerber, we should point out, as this puck comes back to center. Tomko in hot pursuit, shouldered off the puck by Murphy. Side of the net, it's forced toward the cage by Caputo. Caputo shoved from behind, and the net is dislodged behind Cam Junker.
It was Brock Murphy putting Caputo into the net. Just laid a check right on him and knocked the net off on the shot opportunity.
And one wonders what it's going to take to buy a call in this third period. Are officials going to let the boys play a little bit, or are they going to continue to call a tight game as you would in the first or second period, with
honestly,
things being what they are?
In this period, so far, I haven't seen much that could be called. They've been kept it relatively clean.
I would agree.
And, you know, that's been the nice thing about this game. Neither team has really gone too far out of their way. I mean, you could see some stuff behind the play that's normal stuff, but it'd be interesting to see where who's going to.
A steal by the Tigers, but they couldn't get it cleanly on net, as a man right out in front was Nate Spack. Now this puck from distance is knocked aside by Thomas as Spack gets dumped inside the blue paint.
Yeah, you just got to look at it, and, you know, one of these teams is going to start taking offense to something out there. And it's just going to be a little more emotional as you go, especially in a 2-goal game. 13 minutes to go. You're starting to get the time, well, hey, those 2 points are just hanging out there. They're more, right now, to be honest, they're more important to North Allegheny than they are to Peters Township. But in the long run, you know, Peters Township looking at that as a possibility of jumping Seneca Valley. So you're going to need them.
North Allegheny looking to leapfrog the Raiders for that top spot in AAA, for the time being anyway, with a victory over the Indians here tonight. Also looking for a split of the regular season series, which concludes in the next 12 minutes and 45 seconds, or so we think. Indians playing it inside their own blue line. Laymark backpedaling a bit. Cross ice to his defensive partner Barnhart. And this goes under the stick of Perrott and long enough for icing.
I feel like we've gone back in time with the soundtrack. We started out with Night Court. We got 80s stuff and early stuff, and now all of a sudden we're back at Happy Days, and we get the Fonz to be an official sometimes.
I remember only the Ron Howard years. Everything else I've blacked out. Although I do like that show Barry that Henry Winkler is on, but I digress. icing again against the North Allegheny Tigers. Here's another personal favorite. Boy, Dave Fryer is on the money tonight.
Keep it together. We've got an important hockey game to call, Matt Popchock. This time I haven't had to tell you how it's plural of antelope.
Indians and Tigers are easy enough to remember.
Yes.
Ringwald, left point. Oh, that shot blocked. Great job there by Kerber to get in the way. And that's been the story of the night. Just not a lot of room out there for this lethal Peters Township offense to operate with. Poke check there by Gallo, and Gallo is all over Mertens like a cheap suit, as Mertens really has to hustle to get back to this puck. Ringwald from behind his own goal line. Ringwald set up an important goal the last time these teams met. It was a 4-1 Peters Township win. Indians scoring 4 unanswered to take that contest back at Princecap Arena earlier this regular season.
Here's the kicker for Peters Township. If they can end up tied in wins for the regular season, and they split this regular season with 2 regulation wins each, they will end up losing the penalty minute tiebreaker. It's 100 penalty minutes more for North Allegheny than they do for Peters Township. Discipline is there. And that's the 3rd tiebreaker in the PIHL.
And he would know, Brian Mitchell. Doing great work behind the scenes in the league offices as this puck is whistled wide. And on social media, for that matter. I've enjoyed your posts.
Head to head, I believe, wins, and then it's penalty minutes. And it's 171-74 currently going into this one.
Indians, Tomko is double teamed behind the North Allegheny net, but Forrester blasts one wide that I'm not sure Junker ever saw. Puck dies there in the right circle. Oh, turnover there to Mertens. Mertens down low, trying to hook up with Kovac. Up to Forrester it comes. Kovac, Mertens, and Tomko are all out there together. Rick Tingle putting all his eggs in one basket and trying to get some goals here with his team down a pair. 10:25 to go.
You got to give it a shot here. I mean, you got to try anything, try to get through that defense, put all your talent out, but look.
Oh, giveaway here, and oh, beautiful toe save by Thomas. My goodness. A terrible giveaway there by the Indians, and Thomas bails them out.
Are they double shifting Tomko now? Opportunity here.
Well, if you got young legs on your team, you use them as this puck is loose in front. One of the Indians in the Rob Scuderi position trying to keep it from crossing the goal line. And I believe they're going to get a whistle here and maybe a crease violation against North Allegheny. Let's see.
This could be, depending on what they decide. They're not signaling anything yet. It looks like they signaled to face off to the right unless they figure out how this played out. They're talking about it a little bit.
I think the officials are saying they've lost sight of the puck, and Colby Onshin wants to know how and why. Well, in any event, face-off coming up to the right of Kyle Thomas with under 10 to go in regulation, and the Indians win it. Near side, Caputo reaches back for this puck. Gave it up to Welkoskis. Back to center it comes for Laymark, for Brock Murphy. Murphy up ahead to Perrott. Perrott around the boards for Kalezi. Kalezi to the side of the net, denied by Thomas. Deflected toward the net, and Thomas there with a glove save. And you talk about the North Allegheny defense as a unit. Well, Kyle Thomas isn't chopped liver at the other end. He's played a fantastic game for the Indians.
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. You don't look at it from the standpoint that it's like that. He has had a solid contest. He's made at least 3 or 4 10-bell saves, and he's only kept it 2-0. I mean, the 2 goals he gave up were a rough shot through traffic and then a deflection in front. And it was not a deflection, but a shot from the circle on a good pass across. So there's not much you can talk saying bad about that because he's made some really good saves to keep it just the 2 goals.
In games where the Indians have allowed more than 2 goals, which has happened 5 times this year, by the way. They're only 2-3. Usually when they keep it, when they mitigate damage like they've done tonight, they're in position to win games. That's been their MO all year long, but this is a little bit of unfamiliar territory for them as they find themselves on the wrong side of a defensive struggle as we approach the midpoint of this third period. Gallo and Kerber, the difference makers in period 2. North Allegheny changing on the fly. Phillips playing this puck deliberately to center. And an altercation there on neutral ice. North Allegheny fans wanted a penalty called. None will be coming their way. As Gallo cranks one from the point that's blocked. Now the shot from distance goes wide of the Peters Township net. Outlet pass for Tomko. He reels it in. Tomko coming back 1-on-2. Good poke check there by Barnhart. And Tomko immediately with 2 white jerseys all over him.
That's good on.
Tomko just barely onside there, is pinned up against the board, still fighting for this puck. Tomko just showing dogged determination on this shift as it comes up to Ringwald. Ringwald makes a move. Ringwald looking for space off the left leg of Cam Junker.
Had Tomko on the opposite side on his wrong hand.
Back to center it comes for Gallo. Gallo cross ice for Kerber. Kerber toward the goal. Spack is taken off the puck. Mertens using his momentum to get it back to center. Up ahead for Kovac. Kovac between the circles. Kovac trying to create some space. Kovac drops it back to the point. Oh, Forrester unable to get to it in time. Indians have to tag up. Mertens, top of the left circle, enters the circle. Now he's knocked to his stomach. Play continues.
Heads off.
It is indeed with 7 minutes to play in the third period. Now Peters Township maybe at least a little bit tilting the ice here in the late goings, but still not a lot in the way of real quality chances that we can speak of recently.
They're still getting shut down as they come across the blue line, and they're having to force the shots on net because of the collapsing of the defense. It's a good play for North Allegheny right now, especially whenever Peters Township is just jumping into it.
And icing called against the Tigers. Face-off coming up to Junker's right. Now next up, the Indians have Upper St. Clair on Tuesday the 17th at Princecape Arena. Matt Geitko will have the call of that one. North Allegheny's got to make the long ride up 79 to take on Cathedral Prep, one of the neat stories in AAA this year that you've spoken of, Mitch. That should be a great game as well. Rebound along the side of the net. Thomas making 2 great saves. Sprawling out in front as one of the Tigers is dumped after the whistle. And now I think we may get penalties here.
There's a little extra going on in front of Thomas, and Baker got dumped right in front of the net. Let's see what Batco calls. Cross check, and it's going to be on North Allegheny, so here we go.
Oh boy.
This is the situation we were talking about.
Kaminsky will feel shame for 2 minutes and then get free with 6:34 to play, third period. And I'm a little surprised that wasn't an even up situation, but in any event, it's Peters Township to work on the power play. The #1 power play in AAA coming in against the last ranked penalty kill coming in. Something's got to give. It's got to give here for Peters Township if they want to get back in this game.
Good one.
Ringwald from the point. Surveys the play. Goes left side to Tomko. Tomko. Kovac. Kovac shooting off a body. It went wide. Mertens watching things over. Goes up to Tomko. Tomko for Kovac. Back to Tomko. Tomko cranks one deflected toward goal. Save made by Junker. No rebound. That puck hit something on its way toward the net, and I don't think Peters Township necessarily got the shot that it wanted off that sequence.
No, Kovac was able to get it, just shuffle a backhand shot on net after the play, and it went on net. Junker was able to see it. Tomko just tried to go through the screen and got it through partially. The deflection just bounced right to Kovac, and he just threw one on.
A big face-off win there for the Tigers as Lamarck puts it up, but into his own bench.
That's coming outside of his own. It came off the glove.
Justin Pisano corroborates you. So 1.5 to go, and the minor penalty on Kaminsky. Just over 6 to go in the game. Peters Township on the power play, trying to slice into a 2-0 deficit. Tomko, near side for Mertens. Mertens with good speed. Mertens stick checked by Baker. Good hustle by Newpaver to keep it inside the zone. Kovac to Tomko up high. Tomko, snapper, save, Junker. .104 to go in the power play.
Gotta get pucks on net, and they're doing just that. It was a good shot low. Trying to beat Junker through the screen, but there was enough time after the second player there to be able to see it.
Cross ice, Ringwald save made, rebound, score! Ryder Mertens makes that donut disappear midway through the Peters Township power play. And what did we tell you? It could be an X factor still with 5:32 to play in the third period. We've got a 2-1 hockey game.
Well, you just solved the Da Vinci Code right there, being able to get an opportunity to fire one on and just getting one behind Junker here. You know, and now it's in the back of his head just a little bit, and an opportunity here for Peters Township. Now, it's up to North Allegheny to keep their mind straight and try to continue to just do what they were doing earlier and maintain this pressure that they've had on Peters Township.
Ryder Mertens, his 8th of the season and 5th power play goal, which ties him for the Class AAA lead. The captain makes it happen for Peters Township, and he now has 5 goals overall in his last 6 games. He's really stepped up his play for Rick Tingle with guys in and out of the lineup these last couple league contests. Jones trying to center it for Maeda. Deflected out of play by Lamarck, I believe. Face-off, indeed, coming up in NA territory.
The only other thing that I can think of right now, I'm looking at the terrestrial clock. I don't know what time they got started, but tick-tock might be there. We got to keep an eye on that at some point. I don't know what the Cinderella clock says here.
Just over 5 to go, hockey time anyway. North Allegheny clinging to a 1-goal lead now as Forrester has it right point for Maeda. Maeda for Jones. Jones for Ringwald. Ringwald pinching to get the puck deep. Alexander harassed by Lamarck. Maeda going in after it for Peters. Lucky bounce there for the Tigers, but a steal by Forrester. Forrester shooting, it's blocked. Good play there by Brock Murphy. And Ringwald falls down as he tries to gather this puck in. Khaleesi playing it toward the Peters blue line. And the Indians will settle it down defensively behind their goaltender, Kyle Thomas, with 4.5 to go in regulation. Still a game here at the Galaxy rink inside the Baierl Complex in Warrendale. Maeda, left circle. Maeda to Alexander. Alexander had Jones open, doesn't go there. Now Maeda, or Alexander rather, goes down as Jones turns around, shoots it, deflected just wide off the skate. That would have counted too if it had gone in off Alexander. Indians just couldn't get the bounce as this puck is put into the Peters bench by Perrott.
Nolan Hilbert's throwing his hands up like, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it, man.
4 minutes to play, third period.
Face off at center.
Irvin against Tomko, and Tomko wins the face-off for the Indians. And Tomko has it for Peters Township. Tomko couldn't get around the last man. That was Barnhart. The All-Star stuck right with him. Mertens from neutral territory. Couldn't find Kovac. Tigers clear it. Phillips to his defensive partner. And a long lead pass intended for Kovac. Good read there by Gallo. Kovac tags up, gets to this puck now for Peters Township. For Mertens. Mertens shooting. Scoring! Thank you, sir. May I have another? Ryder Mertens. And we've got a brand new hockey game.
Whew, that was a nice little back off for Kovac to know the situation, be able to come back in, tag up, grab the puck, come down. Mertens came down, took the pass, and just fired that one off the inside of the near post, off the far post, and back in. And, well, here we go.
And again, with guys having amateur hockey commitments and missing certain games, you know, you need other guys to step up. In the last couple games, to begin the 2023 portion of the season, the light bulb has absolutely gone on for Ryder Mertens, specifically the red light bulb, as he has his second of the night, and we've got a brand new game with 3:20 to play.
That was just a goal scorer's goal. Lined up, knowing the situation and just knowing what you've been seeing. Everybody's been firing it into him, trying to go low, switching up and going high on that shot.
Kovac and Wateska, in case you missed the public address announcement, get the helpers on the equalizer by Ryder Mertens. What a turn of events late in this third period. The Indians scoring with their top-ranked power play, and then sometime later scoring at even strength in both instances, Ryder Mertens doing the damage for the visitors. Herb off the glass, settled down by Jackman. Sorry, Brian.
That's okay. The bounces are starting to go the opposite way now.
Kerber over the line. Kerber toward goal. Thomas not taking any chances.
Definitely a complete switch of the entire game here, as the ice just absolutely fell to the opposite side after that power play goal for Peters Township.
North Allegheny wins the faceoff, bouncing out in front. It's still loose. Thomas doesn't know where it is. Penalty coming up here, and it's going to go against the North Allegheny Tigers, I think. The Tigers were the last team to touch the puck. Cross-checking is indicated. On whom, I do not know. And Gallo appears to have beef with referee Justin Pisano, so this is going against the Tigers, I think.
No, it's
or is it? No, it's going to go against the Indians. Well, not that I'm the world's greatest reader of body language, but that did not appear to be the case based on how that all played out.
So when that bounced off, it bounced off of the initial stoppage was because it came off of an Indians player trying to clear it. Is what I believe happened on that play. When it went up to the point for the shot, it was literally just leaning into it. So
North Allegheny 0 for 1 thus far on the power play. They're solid on the power play as well, right behind Peters Township at 28.2 coming in. Peters Township with the top-ranked penalty kill in Class AAA entering Week 14 as this puck goes out of play.
Rick Tingle with the save.
And a timeout being called by
Peters.
Thank you, Brian.
All right. Well, that was the PA address announcer. All right. So, well, what difference the last 10 minutes could make in this contest? I mean, we mentioned it. You got to watch out for that the Peters Township power play against that North Allegheny penalty kill. And, you know, we just saw how that momentum can shift and a player getting just a hot hand like Mertens in that position. You know, getting the opportunity on the tip in front. Then he was able to get the pass off of the circle and fire one, basically, goal scorer's goal.
And if NA was or is at all shell-shocked by what has transpired, they're certainly not showing it. They went right back on the attack. They drew an offensive zone penalty, which, again, we didn't think initially was the case, but it is the case on Peters Township's top gun, Will Tomko. So this is huge on multiple levels for NA if they want to steal these 2 points in the final moments of regulation time.
Yeah, because you've got, what, 2 minutes? It's about 25 seconds difference right now.
About that, yes.
25 seconds between the regular clock and so North Allegheny, this is a huge one right here for them to try to get some points here.
And they've got in Trey Gallo one of the top power play quarterbacks in the entire league.
And they took a big body off of the ice. It's going to take a lot of space up from Peters Township, and it's going to have to be respected along the lines.
This faceoff actually comes outside Peters territory. The Indians win the faceoff. They send it around the boards, and they ice it legally, as penalty-killing teams can do. Final 2 minutes of regulation time. 2-2 the score. Irvin through center for North Allegheny. Irvin on the off wing, pulls up at the hash mark, is stick checked by one of the Indians. That's Mertens. Mertens fighting for this one. Oh, what determination. Now Mertens has it for the Indians. Mertens over the blue line, shorthanded. Mertens around Gallo. Mertens on his forehand, just taking time off the penalty clock here as Mertens protects this puck. 1:13 to go in the minor on Tomko. Mertens kicking at it. Gallo finally pries it free. A poke check there, and it's given back to Mertens. Mertens down low, backhander, score! Big Ben strikes for the Peters Township Indians. A shorthanded goal. 3-2 with 1:27 to play.
That was just patience. Patience letting the play come to you. And Mertens down low, burning as much time off of the clock, was able to get that rebound. It was a clearing attempt, went back to him, was fired one down the Kovac, who just fired an innocent shot on the backhand in, and that's it. We got a 3-2 lead, and that's something else.
1:25 to go in the third, and now under a minute to go on the penalty to Tomko. Just an innocent little backhander, that full junker between the legs. And this crowd is stunned, half of this crowd anyway, as Bianchin whizzes it wide.
They're going to pull him now. There he goes, he's gone.
Extra attacker coming on for the Tigers. Can they equalize? One-timer put wide of the net by Spack. Final minute of regulation play. Peters Township looking to commit absolute thievery here at the Baierl Complex. 3 late third period goals to take the lead. Irvin between the circles. Couldn't get it cleanly on net. Empty net to our left. Cleared by Maeda wide of the empty net. But he can ice this puck because Peters is still on the PK. Final half minute of play. Gallo over the blue line. Gallo has a man go down. Gallo out in front. The centering pass was blocked. Forrester got in the way. Now pressure on Perrott. Tigers have to set something up here in a hurry. From the hash mark. It's put off a Peters Township skate. Up to Perrott. Perrott shooting toward the goal. Blocked. Rebound put wide of Thomas. 10 seconds left. Gallo out in front. Score!
Noah Spack.
Stop the press. That ain't all she wrote. Nate Spack with 6.5 seconds to spare. And the goaltender pulled. Has tied it at 3. Are we sure this isn't a playoff game?
I got nothing. Literally nothing right now. That was just exactly what you need to do down low and under pressure. And Spack just went exactly where he needed to go. And you needed to get the puck on the net and find somebody with an open stick. And Spack fired one home that, well, it ain't sending us home yet, so let's continue.
Over the blue line comes Tomko. Tomko just wide of the goal, and wouldn't that have been something as the buzzer sounds. And so we head to the WG Tomko Incorporated overtime period on PIHL Hockey Night Live. It's an NHL-style 3-on-3 overtime. They play 3 minutes instead of 5. Next goal wins. Bianchin with a multi-point game. Gallo with another multi-point contest. And that's part and parcel for the North Allegheny captain. If they were going to extend this game, he was going to have to be involved on that power play one way or the other. I'm not certain if that will be a power play assist to his credit. If it is,
Big 3 out.
Mertens, Kovac, and Tomko. If it is, it would give him 7 on the year to lead all players, which he does anyway, to finish my thought. And for NA, it's Perrott, Lamarck, and Welkoskis. Welkoskis, the freshman, has it for North Allegheny on his backhand. He's pressured at center. Chance the other way for the Indians. Mertens to Tomko. Tomko driving the net, trying to go to Mertens. The play's broken up at the last moment by Welkoskis.
While they go, finish my thought real fast. With the point, though, Peters Township, regardless of the result, will have the tiebreaker. As the head-to-head will go with the overtime point regardless.
Oh, a near steal there by Mertens with 2:15 to go in the overtime. Up ahead, it's gloved down by Bianchin. Cole Bianchin over the blue line, drop pass. Couldn't connect with Irvin. Bianchin still has it, though, for NA. Out in front to Irvin. Irvin trying to tee it up. He goes to his backhand, puts it into the stomach of Thomas, and Thomas covers it with his equipment. 2 minutes to go in overtime. What a game here in Warrendale.
Oh, yeah.
Ringwald, the alternate captain, goes cross ice for Jones. Jones takes the pass. Peters was offside. Maeda desperately tried to get back on, but not in time, they say.
He made a really solid option there. He could not finish it, though. He did a good job.
And the big three, just like that, are back on for Rick Tingle.
But it
For
looks
North
like
Allegheny, their big gun, Trey Gallo, with Matt Irvin and
Bianchin.
Cole Bianchin. Thank you. Mertens from the left hash for Kovac. Kovac dropping for Tomko. Tomko cross ice for Mertens. Mertens for Tomko. Tomko trying to create space. He's under pressure. He drops it for Kovac. Kovac for Tomko. Tomko crisscrossing with Kovac. Tomko looking for an avenue, can't find one. Gallo is right with him, and Kovac is going to have to peel back and wait for his teammates to get on side here before he can re-enter the zone. And pressure by Gallo, kicks this puck to his own stick. Gallo peeling back now, waiting for NA to complete a line change as he drops it back for Irvin. Final minute of sudden victory OT. A collision at center ice gives Peters Township possession. Mertens up to Kovac. Kovac for Tomko. Tomko, 2-on-1 possibly, cross ice. Kick toward the net. Junker knocked it aside with his glove. Maeda just on, has it. Goes down low to Kovac. In front, it's deflected wide by Maeda. Maeda ridden off that puck by Irvin. Kovac wants to come off here, he's tired. And the Tigers have it. Spack for Gallo. Gallo with all kinds of time and space. Gallo to the goal. Blocked. 22 to play in OT. Indians have to hurry. Maeda has a man up ahead of the play. It's Newpaver. Newpaver entering the zone. Newpaver to the goal. Save made. Penalty coming up. Score! It's poked in by Maeda. Courtney, leave the lights on. It's all over at the Baierl Ice Complex as the Peters Township Indians, on a night on which they erased a 2-0 lead late, surrendered a 1-goal lead in the closing seconds, defeat the North Allegheny Tigers by a final score of 4-3. Good night, nurse, I'm spent.
I swear, this has been a phenomenal contest. Like, from the beginning, you look at it, okay, 2-0, and they're just shutting them down. But it was just, hey, we're going to go over. And North Allegheny is still getting an explanation. They're not ready for the handshake line yet.
I thought the play was dead in defense of head coach Andrew Cease.
Yeah.
I thought that puck was completely covered by Junker. If I were on the Tigers bench, I would want an explanation as well, but officials insisting that the goal stands. Maeda did not give up on the play until he heard a whistle, and that's what you do. He just kept jamming at it, and Luca Maeda, the sophomore, after Nate Spack equalized with his second goal of the year, Maeda scores his second goal of the year to win the thing. And boy, did he pick a doozy of a time for it.
And they're still talking about it on the bench right now.
In the WG Tomco Incorporated overtime, it is the Peters Township Indians defeating the North Allegheny Tigers with 7.8 seconds to spare by a final score of 4-3. Peters 10-3 on the year and a 9-3-2-1 on the year. Special thanks. Go ahead, Brian. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I actually didn't have anything to add. I was just adding it.
Special thanks to you, Brian Mitchell, for coming out and joining the team tonight. It was a lot of fun having you. Special thanks, camera operator Michael Lyman. Special thanks, producer Todd Kazarowski, for allowing us to have our good pal Mitch on board here. Special thanks also to PIHL Commissioner, the late John Muka. Just a terrible, terrible bit of news we received about his untimely passing this past weekend. I'm glad you and I get to both get together as buddies, be out at the rink talking PIHL hockey, celebrating youth hockey in Western Pennsylvania, because that was John Muka's favorite thing to do. He loved his job.
He had a lot to do with us being able to do this, and it's going to be missed, and it's going to be tough shoes to fill. However, when they figure out what's going on with that, but we're going to do everything we can to keep this league going for the remaining. So, all right.
Rest in peace, Commissioner. Yeah. And rest in power, for that matter. Final score, and a wild one, from the Baierl Ice Complex in Warrendale. Indians 4, Tigers 3. Short production week, we're off the rest of the week. Right back here on Monday, the 16th, for QV at Avonworth and Blackhawk at Moon. Until then, for Brian Mitchell, I am at Popchock saying thank you for watching and listening to PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10-Band TV and Peters Hockey TV, presented by WG Tomco Incorporated. Bye.